What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League podcast, back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got John Abraham back on the show. We're double A today. We're still waiting on Amanda, but she'll get back closer to around the football season starts up. John Abraham, 15-year NFL defensive end, five-time Pro Bowler. Abe, great to have you on, man.
Thanks. We're gonna have to start throwing that two-time alternate in so I can try to get my seven in there.
Yeah, I have to remember that.
The average is seven Pro Bowls, so I'm like, hell, I'm two, but I'm like, hey, I still got two alternates that I should have been there, but hell, they just didn't make it. How you doing, man? How the week's going?
Going good. Watched the All-Star break for baseball. That was some fun stuff. And just itching for some football, man. I'm ready for training camp. Starting up, next week for some teams, I think.
Yeah, you got to be excited. I know just being in Atlanta, because the college football is coming in late August. We got Carolina playing Virginia Tech, and I think everybody's just mounting up. And I'm seeing so much stuff on social media. I was trying to be off social media for a week or something, but if you're off social media for a day or two, you're going to miss like some big trades, some people getting cut, big contracts are coming out. Especially in New York, they just say they're going to pay their guys. They gave them that guap. They're not like Cincinnati. They paying the heck out of people. So they got them 100 million guys around there, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's good to see the Jets taking care of business, paying Sauce, paying Garrett Wilson. But on this episode, we're going to talk NFC East and preview the upcoming division. And it's crazy in this division, no one ever repeats. The Eagles were the last team to repeat. They won 4 in a row in the early 2000s. But it's a very competitive division. No one ever repeats. And we'll see if the Eagles, I think, are going to be the favorite to repeat. But we'll see if Dallas or the Commanders can keep that tradition going.
Yeah, definitely. But we were speaking earlier, and I told you I want to know what's your thoughts on the quarterbacks. I think the biggest thing in this division is you have 4 quarterbacks that are pretty much MVP caliber quarterbacks. Even though you have a young quarterback in Washington, you have two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. If I must say, you have a complete quarterback. They say that paid a whop of money in DC. Dallas Cowboys, as we might say, Cowgirls. Some people say they have all kind of names for the Dallas, the Americans team, whatever you want to call it. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing that is going to define who's going to be the best team. There are good defenses, Dallas, Philly, obviously. Commanders are coming in third, I'll say with that. You got 1 and 2 with Dallas right now, especially with their players. But, and I don't want to speak about the Giants too much. I know you want to have your little fun with them, so I'm not going to go into much that. But having Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart, can they coincide together? Is Russell Wilson ready to be Russell Wilson? He's ready to cook again, but we don't have to go straight to them. We can start with. I would like to start with actually the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys is the team that has the most to prove. I mean, you have a second-year quarterback in Washington. You have a Super Bowl winning back quarterback in Jalen Hurts, which he wants to prove a lot because that's just Jalen Hurts. But yeah, he already won. He doesn't have to show off too much. The Giants, I think everybody's kind of feel like it's still in a rebuilding thing. Even though they wanted Shador, me and you really thought that Shador was going to be there and it was going to be kind of like his team. They was going to build around them, all the accolades and all the stuff that you want to hear, all the fanfare. We felt like the big lights would have been perfect for him, but they got Jackson Dart. I don't even know how you can market Jackson Dart unless you got a dartboard. So it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff that's going on there. So, but I would like to start with the Dallas Cowboys and how you feel about them right now. If you want to go there, that's fine. If not, we can shuffle around.
Yeah, let's do it. The Cowboys are interesting. They're coming off a down year, but we all know why, because Dak Prescott got hurt, that big hamstring injury, severe hamstring injury. So that's key, is having him 100% healthy and ready to go. But a really interesting move for the Cowboys this offseason was trading with the Patriots for Joe Milton. And now you've got a guy who he looks like potentially could be a starter in this league, could have some, a real arm and could be an actual starting quarterback. So if Dak gets hurt again, we'll see if Joe Milton can step in and maybe steal that job going forward. But I think if the Cowboys are going to be successful in 2025, Dak has to stay healthy, and George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb need to coexist really well together. And hopefully Dak and George Pickens can get some of that chemistry going.
Yeah, I hope they do. Coming off, like you said, 7-10 season last year. Hopefully Dak can stay healthy with all the money they pay him. I think the defense is going to have to step up. I'm not seeing a lot of great things here. Diggs coming back off a torn ACL. You only have one guy that you're really looking at right now, and
Yeah,
and I know he's going to play well, but saying that you're not paid yet and being that kind of guy, especially if you don't feel like the team is behind you, can be very tough on a young guy. And especially when you see all these guys that are so-called the number ones in their position, like I was talking about Sauce Gardner and those guys getting paid. Those are guys you're seeing like every day on TV and looking at these $100 million deals and knowing that you should be around that 30 to $32 million guy. So let's
yeah.
see how let's see how Parson handles that side of the situation. I think the move from Mike McCarthy was not a bad move. I think they're giving everybody just a fresh new look at a Cowboys team. I think that's what they need. Even though they've been around for so long, not saying people are tired of Dak, but people are tired of Dak. It's kind of like, sure, he's a great average quarterback, but in the playoffs, it's just like that's what you look at. We got a black Tony Romo. I mean, come on, we need trying to win. We want to see some playoff wins. It's been a while. It's been decades actually since you've had a championship team.
Yeah. Yeah, they got to be feeling the pressure there. I think Micah Parsons is going to do him. He's going to do his thing. He's consistent. He does a good job, in my opinion, of keeping the off-field stuff out of his mind during the regular season and just focusing. But that can be hard if you're not winning. So the Cowboys need to get back to winning. It's going to be an adjustment going from Mike McCarthy to a rookie head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, who's never done it before. And then I'm very familiar with their new defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, who is the Bears head coach. And my only advice to Dallas is don't ask Eberflus to manage the clock at the end of the game. Let him control the defense. Don't put the clock in his hands.
Yeah, I don't know if Dante Fowler was a good mix for Demarcus. I guess a good replacement for Demarcus Lawrence. But Demarcus Lawrence hasn't been the Demarcus Lawrence we thought he was going to be. We want a double-digit sack guy. He hasn't been in a couple of years. But I think Dante Fowler does have another shot. Seeing him play here in Atlanta, he has a possibility of trying to be a better player, especially with somebody on the side of him like Parsons. Hopefully he can, I guess get better. So I see that you saying that you thinking it's going to be a 9 to 11 win season. I'm right there with you. I would say 9 to 10. 11 is pushing it to me. I can see
Yeah.
them losing. I can see them losing more than 6 games. Uh, so that's kind of pushing it to me. But the playoffs is really going to be tough to me. I think them making the playoffs this year is going to be tough. I think next year they might be a better team because they might pick up some more people. I think their offense is going to be high powered though. I think the two guys, like you said, Pickens and CD are going to like put up numbers, but I think it's not going to be end zone numbers. Like getting to the red zone and not scoring or putting up threes and everything. Like I can't remember when they were a team putting up 30 points. So like even last year was tough to watch. I was at the game when Dak went down, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be an ugly year for them because it was ugly like even when they was playing like with him.
Yeah, it's interesting because what's one thing that would really help in the red zone is a running game. And you
So
heard Jerry Jones. He was talking about it all last season about how, oh, well, we could have had Derrick Henry, we could have, or whatever. And I fully expected them to either draft O'Marion Hampton or get a running back early in the draft this year. Instead, they go tackle once again with Tyler Booker. But I'm not very confident in their running back room with Javonte Williams, with Miles Sanders, with the rookie Jaden Blue. That could be something that holds them back. It's going to be
losing Zach
interesting,
Martin,
huh?
losing Zach Martin, exactly like you said, losing Zach Martin also on their
Yeah,
offensive line, a true leader for years, and not having him now try to replace him with a rookie is going to be kind of different. I guess you could
yeah.
say, that's going to be very different. I'm glad you stated that. I forgot all about that. But him leaving, and I think that's going to be a different leadership and having Dak, which going to have to train that boy quick. Like, this is Dak. You can't get the quarterback hit. Like, we know it's your rookie year, but you're going to have to stand up very early because we can't have Dak on the ground. We can't have Dak hurt because we paid this guy a buku bag. And we want
Yeah.
to see buku bag standing up, not laying down. So that's a good thing. I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot about the running game. It's like you try to find so much stuff that so much bad to talk about because you can't find a consistent thing to really stick on when you talk about stuff for Michael Parsons and CD. You can talk about those guys because you know their names, but you try to piece the team together and try to put like the offensive line has a hole here, the D tackle. I don't know who's their D tackles. Like who's going to be the main guy here? Okay, Diggs is Diggs really that good, or is he just the name for that 1 year? It's like so many holes in the defense or so many holes in the offense. And we ain't even gonna talk about special teams because we have no clue about that. Which we can
Yeah.
say we don't, because when you have a team and they have great players, usually have a great special teams too, because defense pushes special teams and they lead special teams. So we don't really know exactly where we want to start from. Besides Brian Schottenheimer being a new coach, and we're putting our faith in his last name pretty much. We're not putting our
Yeah.
faith in like what he's done as a coach because it's pretty much like, okay, we're going to put it in on him because you just promoted him from a position that was already taken by somebody else. So you just pretty much saying we like your name Schottenheimer, and if we're going to win, we're going to use that name.
Yeah, I hope it works out. I would like to see the Cowboys be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to hiring the head coach, get a bigger name in there, spend some more money. Don't just promote from within. Same with running back. I'd like to see them make a splash move, bring someone in. Even the running back they drafted is what, a fourth or fifth round guy. I do like some of the rookies they drafted on the defensive side of the ball, Donovan Ezaraku and the corner Savon Ravel. I think they can both have some pretty immediate impact on the field. So I hope we see them out there. I hope they get some snaps and can make some impact. But yeah, this team, I mean, I think 9 to 10 wins is being optimistic. You know, we're talking about the holes in the youth. This team could easily go 8, 7 wins again. And then, then you're asking some real questions. And it'll be interesting to see what direction this Cowboy team is headed after 2025.
Right. Okay, well, I guess we can bounce from one of the middle part of the teams with Dallas, and I want to go straight to Philly.
All
Jalen
right.
Hurts has been an incredible guy since college. I've always admired how he handled himself off the field, even on the field. Having to leave the game sometime because they thought another player was better. That I think that player is in Miami right now, and he's been pretty much like he's paid, but he ain't been playing. So I think it's a tribute to how he handled himself, winning the Super Bowl, uh, playing lights out in the Super Bowl, playing with so much poise and everything. Defense playing lights out. I can't see that defense getting any worse because all these guys are like 23, 24 years old.
Yeah.
I guess they lost Brandon Graham, but he wasn't really a factor this whole year. He was just probably like they say that mental leader as an older guy, but only thing he did was cause controversy trying to say that a receiver and a quarterback had an issue, which has nothing to do with him. And these guys was at the draft together. They're like brothers. That's like me and like when I was a kid, my best friend was Boo Williams. I was in college. Me and Boo used to go at it. They always thought me and Boo was mad because we wouldn't speak to each other one day, but it's like we lived together. They didn't
Yeah.
talk like, dude, like we live together. It's like me and you in the room, right? And I ain't speaking to Alex. That don't mean I don't mess with him. It's just the day we ain't talking because he said I was going to win the Super Bowl and I got mad. So I ain't but that ain't none of your business. They're gonna run. Oh, they mad at each other. No, we're not. Like, cause we're gonna double down on you. We're gonna double down on you. We're gonna double down on you. But I think they did. I didn't think they needed a lot of work this offseason. I think they let go I think they let go of some more of the. I wouldn't say. I don't want to say toxic stuff, but I don't want to say the or the bad kind of vibes in the room. But I think they kind of cleared house of who they didn't really want around now. I think they're not going for the ego type players anymore. They want the guys that want to win. Going to get Saquon Barkley was a heaven sent, and they paid him like he came from heaven too. They said, "Look, we tripping, man. You way outpaid this contract we gave you, so we're going to give you some love, man." And I love that kind of stuff in football. Even me and you were kind of thinking like should he rest or should he get this record? He chose right thing, and he ended up doing the right thing and getting the ring. He's like, I want the ring. He got the ring now. So this year, could he probably go back for that again? I'm not sure because it was so much energy and so much hype and so much stuff coming from last year. I don't think he'll have the year he had prior, but I do think he's going to be a good, well balanced offense. And I think it's going to be Callis is still going to start for him. I think Jalen Hurts is just going to have to play sensible football like he's been playing. I think AJ Brown is going to have to be that guy. I think AJ Brown and I think Nolan Smith are going to be two guys that are going to have a remarkable year this year. Just me personally, I've loved Nolan Smith since he was at Georgia. I wanted him to here down in Atlanta so bad. We went and got two guys for this year in Atlanta, but I really feel like their impact is going to be on defense from probably years to follow. They got a couple guys in free agency, Adoree Jackson, but I think the main factor is going to be that D line for years to come, especially when they go find them another leading middle linebacker. Like, not saying the guy they have not is bad, but when they go find a dog, like they go find somebody in the draft and they can like have it for 10 years. And if they can sign these guys like early, it'll be nice.
Yeah, I think they're pushing into the Howie Roseman's done such a good job in the draft the last couple of years. They're making a push towards the youth. You got Cooper DeJean, you got Nakobe Dean, you got Nolan Smith, you got the two defensive tackles. They're gonna build that up and go a little bit young, and I like it. I like what Philly's doing. They don't have hardly any holes on that roster. They've done such a great job of building it, and I don't really see much of a drop off. I think they're positioned to repeat as division champs. I think they're gonna push the hell out of some of these teams like Green Bay that wanted to try to ban that play. I think they're gonna use it this year more than ever, and they're the toughest team in the league to stop. That play's almost unstoppable. Plus, you got Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts has A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, all these weapons. The defense, I just don't see much of a fall off. I think they're going to 11 to 13 wins, and they're going to be a tough team to beat come playoff time. Vic Fangio has been a huge addition as well. He really got that defense going last year.
Yeah, I can see this offense actually with Jalen Hurts. If they use him right, I can see those touchdowns doubling. I can see him have a good 30, maybe 30 to 35 touchdowns this year. Because you pinpointed it pretty much. You said like he has all kind of receivers in there. And also Saquon can catch out of the backfield. I think Saquon is, like I said, I think Saquon might fall off from the 2,000 mark this year, but I think his backfield work is going to still be there. I think the little dump off passes for him, the screen passes, the small things to get him the ball, are what's going to be perceived as a running play now compared to straight just put him in the backfield, because you're going to have to move him around now. I can even see him like line up in the slot or something, give him a quick screen and let him just get open, because he's like a returner playing running back, like how he cuts and he just hits the thing. So I can see those numbers moving up. 18 was not a lot. But how they played this year and having Saquon, I just think it could be Jalen Hurts' time to have maybe a 4,000-yard season and, maybe having that 30, 32, 35 touchdowns. I think the rushing yards are going to go down because they're going to start throwing the ball a little more to Saquon outside the backfield.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Take a little bit of the pressure off of Saquon and try to get Jalen Hurts some more like national hype and open up that passing offense a little bit. And some people are going to say losing Kellen Moore was a big loss to offensive coordinator. I'm not. They should be able to keep it rolling.
Right. You don't have to have a huge playbook to get this guy to be amazing. You just got to put him in the right place, especially with that kind of offense and the players they have on their offense. And I think they retain their same offensive line. So I think they'll be okay. Big time.
And how does the NFL let Jahad Campbell go there? Jahad Campbell is going to fit in. You talk about that linebacker. He can play in the middle or he can rush the passer, off ball or on ball. That's a hell of a linebacker to add to an already great defense.
Yeah, you love that name too. Yeah.
Well, they got two of my favorites, Jahad Campbell and Azeez Ojulari is one of my favorite names.
Right. So the last 2 years we've been blessed with great quarterbacks coming in rookie years. We just had, Jalen, Houston, just two great picks. Last year, Jaden did his thing, thug thizzle. But in
Mhm.
the last couple of years, the quarterbacks that have been playing well, that second year has not been looking great. Not saying they've been terrible, have been injuries, have been a little, things that have slowed the quarterbacks down. But Jaden Daniels, 3,500 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 69 completion ratio, very elite quarterback. I mean, he has a backup with we probably never see him if probably never see him Mariota and all that stuff like that. So
Yeah.
how do you feel? And they haven't signed McLaren yet, so that's kind of off season
I
stuff. But I think that can be handled. But you would love to come in with all your guys kind of feeling ready. But I think especially when you're seeing, like I said, I was surprised that the Jets paid that receiver.
yeah. Yeah.
I like him, but I didn't see that money, so I was very surprised. Got my Carolina Javon Kinlaw is going to be there. I think he'll help. The defense is really going to have to be balanced this year. I think
Mhm.
you got to look for a little fall off from the offense, maybe at the beginning, maybe at the end. But like it's going to be different. His mom is going to be there every game, so we know he's going to be eating right and doing everything else right. But we got to make sure that the defense doesn't put him in too many tough situations to have to dig a game out of.
Yeah, I like what they're doing. So they addressed the offensive line, which is a lesson learned from the Texans, right? And speaking of the Texans, they traded for Laramie Tunsil, and then they drafted Josh Connerly. So that's two new tackles in. They're prioritizing the offensive line, prioritizing protecting Jaden Daniels, also trading for Debo Samuel. I mean, I'm betting they're going to pay Terry McLaurin and have him ready to go. So now you add Debo Samuel out there. Debo, what are your thoughts on him? Does he still have it, or is he starting to fall off, injury prone, some mileage, stuff like that? Because Prime Debo is a great fit for that offense.
Well, he's a Gamecock, so I don't try to talk bad about him. I do think he's a little too big to be a receiver, but he looks almost, I don't know what he is. He looks like a tight end quarterback. He looks like everything just mixed off. I think somebody
Mhm.
was saying, I think Keyshawn Johnson said something. He was like one biscuit away from being, a little. But it's just like he's always been bottom heavy, so you can't really tell sometimes. Somebody got thick thighs, heavy butt, so you can't really tell if they're in shape or not until you see them play. And he
Yeah.
doesn't look he doesn't look like he's out of shape watching him from the film and stuff and watching like his off season workouts. But he definitely going to have to fit in where he fits in. I don't think he can look for be the he's gonna have to find a package for him, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna be that guy. I think
Yeah.
Terry is still that guy when it comes to being a receiver. Now, if they decide to use him as a running back, that would be kind of cool because he's used to doing that. But also, he's a little higher in age, and they have a pretty good running back system already. So it's gonna be tough to say like, Debo, we can put you here, or it's gonna be like Debo, like, look, we're gonna use you kind of as a decoy a lot because
Yeah.
people gonna wait for you, so we're gonna use you as a decoy. But we really want Terry after we pay Terry this big old check. We want Terry to get like 100 catches this year. We want to make him, get his check. So I think one thing is for sure, Debo will be a great decoy in every package they have him in. Just because sometimes you don't need to have a great player making plays. He could just be on the field. Like even with
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson just on the field was making people use 9 players for everyone else and 2 for him most of the time. So that's the kind of stuff that you have players like that. So automatically when Debo comes, you might have a linebacker man to man on him just to make sure. They do you change certain sets for him, so his name is going to change a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, exactly. You can use him where, fake the ball to him like 3 times in a row, and then when the defense least suspects it, then you give him the ball, and
Right.
maybe he can break off for a touchdown or a big gain. So I agree with that. Keep him healthy. Maybe save him for the late in the season too. Use him
Yeah.
more in January in the playoffs. Um, but I like what they're doing. We talked about Javon Kinlaw. They signed corner Jonathan Jones. They drafted Trey Amos in the second round. So you got Jonathan Jones, Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Sanders still, now Trey Amos. That's a pretty good secondary, pretty good corner group there. Um, Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, Javon Kinlaw added to that D line. I like what they're doing. I like Dan Quinn as head coach. I like Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator a lot more than head coach. You know what I mean? I think he's found his niche there. And so I think this team, I think they make the playoffs again. I think they're going to be tough to beat. Jaden Daniels, the big thing on him is to just stay healthy, protect yourself. If you're going to run, get out of bounds, don't take any big hits. If they do that and they stay healthy, this is a playoff team, in my opinion.
Okay, my guy. Since we talked about the three teams that we really felt like was going to be the top tier in this, well, hopefully of Dallas, and I'm still, kind of iffy on Dallas, but
Yeah.
we conversed about this before we clicked on. We was feeling a certain way, and we kind of wanted to make the show short tonight. Just make it short. We don't want to bother people. People got stuff to do, but I kind of said something about the big blue, and you were kind of like, oh. Let me just go on a rant. Let me just go. And I want you to talk about the Jackson Dart situation. I want you to talk about Russell Williams. I want you to talk about their, I wouldn't say non-existent, but let's talk about their GM, talk about how you feel the owner should handle stuff from here on out. The fumbling of probably the best player in the league in some people's eyes. Even how they handle it, and even how they handle it and having it on TV, which is just a slap in the face of anybody in the world. And I'm not trying to take your glory and stuff away, but that was just one of the things that probably 30, 40, 50, like literally 50 years from now, when they're talking about football, talking about how great the Philadelphia Eagles was, and they bring about, the 50th greatest players from this certain era, they're going to say Saquon Barkley, and they're going to have that die. And his son saying like, no, not Saquon. You think so? No, not Saquon. That's going to be the storyline. They might the movie. I can see the movie rights already for just that day. They literally going to have just a 30 for 30 for that day. Starting from the morning, him doing this, Saquon playing with his daughters, like, yay, hey, hello, yeah, I'm Saquon, hello, yeah. So it's going to be. Go ahead, man, do your thing, man. I just had to get that little stuff out about me.
No, I would love to see the behind the scenes of what they're talking about since then. Like that's got to be even better. Like, it's so embarrassing for them to be on Hard Knocks for everyone to see. Yeah, and people were sharing that clip all season long. Anytime Saquon has a big game, they're showing that clip. And the funniest part is the owner, John Mara, saying, "Man, I'm not going to be able to sleep at night if he goes to the Eagles, right?" And then he was.
And that he went to the Eagles, though. It's like he went to the Eagles and balled. He went to the Eagles and then you signed Daniel Jones to so much, but you put your faith in Daniel compared to Saquon. So it's like you've lost all your street cred for the Giants. Like even the older players that used to come around don't really want to come around because they love it, but they kind of like, man, y'all just. And how you do it on TV? Not even social media. I can understand if you did it on social media because people have their phones around, but you told the camera like, hey, come in here for this one. This is going to be a good one. Watch this move. I think I got something in here. The thing about it, though, he really was like, watch this big move because Saquon going to get hurt next year or something, and Daniel's going to throw for like 4,000 yards, down. Watch this big play move. No, this is literally like, I think I spoke about it, and I'm not trying to talk about myself, but I spoke about the reason why I'm probably not in the Hall of Fame. I don't have that signature play. This is his signature play for the. I don't care if he went 10 Super Bowls. This is going to be his signature play for the rest of his career. Like, no matter what the Giants do, if the Giants go and ball out, win 3 Super Bowls, they still going to say, "Hey, that's your moment. This is your moment, big guy. You're going to always be your moment from here to when he's 80 years old. That moment when he sees Saquon again, because they're going to run into each other again."
That's going to be so awkward. But yeah, I mean,
for the next couple of years at least.
Yeah, and to me, what really made me mad about that whole situation is that analytics mindset. And he said, we're not going to be handing the ball off to a running back, taking the ball away from a like $70 million quarterback or whatever he said. It's like, what are you talking about? And the best quarterbacks, you want a good running back with them. That helps the quarterback.
Actually, he had a great running back.
Yeah, and so I never understood it. I never understood. I mean, even at the time, paying Daniel Jones that much money made no sense to me. Um, and then even at the time, it was controversial to not keep Saquon. And then he goes and has a career year. So it's just, and so getting to my point here, I think that the Giants are setting themselves up for failure. Because if it were up to me, I would have cleaned house this offseason. I would have fired the GM, fired the head coach, and brought in a whole new, and then drafted the quarterback. I wouldn't bring in the veterans, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, maybe a veteran, maybe like a Joe Flacco. But we know who Russell Wilson is at this point. Jameis is fun. He's going to be fun for the camera, be fun in the locker room. He can go out there and sling it and win you a game or two. But all eyes are going to be on Jackson Dart and how quickly will he get on the field and can he save Brian Dable and Joe Shane's jobs? They want him to get in there and win 5 or 6 games and be like, look, we can win with this guy. We made the right move. Keep us here. But I think it's going to be a rough year, because you're going to have to start the season as long as he's healthy with Russell Wilson. You're going to have Jameis Winston there. I think Jackson Dart is third on the depth chart going in. So it's going to be interesting. I don't really understand what they're doing. Now, the one thing I do like is they're building an absolute monster on defense, on the defensive line. I like bringing in Paulson Adebo and some of those guys as well, but you add Abdul Carter to Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau. They have potential to dominate on the defensive side of the ball. Do you agree?
No, I definitely agree. I always think you need great pass rushers. In my career, I think I had Calais Campbell. I'm not saying I had Sean Ellis also, which ended up being a great. I think he ended up with 70 career sacks. So I had good players, but I never had like dominant. And I'm not trying to say not anybody else that I ever played with, so don't take it like that. I think I played with a lot of great players, but I'm saying I didn't have the, we know he gonna get 10 and he gonna get 10. I never had that guy, but seeing these guys, even though I haven't seen it really from Thibodeau yet, I think he can be that guy. And I think the reason why they got Abdul Carter is to push him more. We've seen Burns in Carolina do his thing, and Burns is one of those slinky guys, can do a lot of stuff. But I think they're kind of like, Thibodeau, we like you, but we kind of want to make sure it's the right choice, and we're gonna have to get somebody that, just in case, that can push you. And I think Abdul Carter was the guy. I've seen the guy in person. He's just a brick house, and I mean, not like he's a football player. His family is very football oriented, whether it's his dad, his mom, his whole family knows football. They know what they want their son to do. And having that kind of background, the stuff that you don't see on TV, the stuff that you don't see about the person all the time, I think that's a big factor, especially going to New York. I think he's going to really capitalize in New York because of how he handles himself and how he does things. I think we kind of overlook, Cam Scatterbo. I think he's going to be super for that offense. I think maybe if they depend on it, though, I think they're going to have to, I think for them, in order for them to get that sour taste of Saquon out, they need to get this guy because of his name, because of the stuff he did in college, because he's a white running back. Let's just keep it real. He's a white running back. And people, okay, when they had the Italian guy, I didn't like that quarterback. I didn't know who he was, but he was Italian. He's from New York. I mean, come on, get a white running back, man. I was with Jason Sehorn, right? I was with Jason Sehorn during the draft, and I was like, bro, he was like coolest white dude ever, man. And he was in New York, and he was a white corner. Let's capitalize on this white running back. Let's get they would be. I don't even remember the last time they had a great white running back in New York. I really don't. I don't know if you can look it up, but I'm like, I have no clue about that. And I think Cam can literally, because I know he can be 1,000-yard rusher in his rookie year, especially with the offensive line they have. And I think, like you said, you don't really have a quarterback that you trust yet, even though you have a MVP and you have a 30 for 30 guy, and you have like a rookie that is possibly good in Jackson Dart. But why not? Let's say, we got this guy for cheap. Let's run the wheels off. Let's just go and see what we're gonna do. Like, I don't trust right now. I don't trust them. We got a guy that is trying to prove himself. we need to get that sour taste of Saquon. Let's get this guy 1,000 yards, and let's just talk about Cam being the best running back we had in years, and let's just try to overshadow the big elephant in the room with the smaller, directive of looking at the running back game. And I think that would work for them more than trying to, throw the ball 50 times, throw the ball 60 times a game and trying to, okay, well, this didn't work. Let's throw Jameson in.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think their best bet is to go with the youth early. Like, don't mess around with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, which is why I disagreed with signing them in the first place. I would have just drafted Shador, or if you believe in Jackson Dart, draft Jackson Dart and get him out there immediately. I'm really interested to watch the preseason and see how he looks there.
Yeah, I think they did it because they can get it cheap. I think because I just think they got two guys you can get for cheap, and I think for Russell and for Jameson, this is a business move for their off the field stuff because Jameson has now become one of those entertaining guys that people want to see him say the weirdest stuff and the corny stuff he says, and people want that. And Russell with Sierra, they went from a kind of Pittsburgh, which is no atmosphere, to now they're back in a market that they can market themselves. You see them at the games already. You see them doing certain things. So I think it was more like a business move for the end of his career. They didn't have to spend a check on these people. They can go in the first round and get certain guys they wanted. So I think it was a great. I guess I think it was great for them because they will put people in the seats because people want to see what Jameson says after the game. People going to want to see what Russell and Sierra are doing. So I think for the marketing view, great move. For win percentage, maybe 6 games win. I can't really. But if they put Cam in, but if they focus on Cam, and also if we can see something, I think Malik Neighbors has a lot more to give. I think once he start really focusing on football. Not saying he hasn't been focused on football. I don't know what he does at home, but when his priority comes to I'm that guy, when he gets kind of, I'm saying on the field type thing, when he gets kind of like the Odell Beckham in him, like I'm the guy, like I am the guy, like it's nothing like throw me to like and just break attack and just being mean and rude, and not saying have the diva mentality so much, but having enough diva to people be like, oh my God, that's Andre Johnson. Like it's like certain thing like Calvin Johnson. When Neighbors gets that, I think that's when you can like kind of open the offense up. But I really think Cam is in a great situation to be a big player in his rookie year.
Yeah, I agree. And I would go like if you want to save your job, if you're the GM and the head coach, you got to play the rookie quarterback. So I would put him out very quickly, as soon as possible. I know they like Tyrone Tracy at running back, but in my opinion, Cam Scatterbo should at least be your number 2 option and get him a lot of targets, get him going. Maybe by week 17, week 18, he's even a bigger part, of the offense. And I think Malik Neighbors' numbers and impact will go up when he gets some real quarterback play. Last year he had Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito. So if Jackson Dart can be that guy, that'll help open him up. We talked about the defense. And another guy, everyone's talking about Abdul Carter. How about Darius Alexander? 3rd-round pick out of Toledo, but a defensive tackle with a lot of upside, and you plug him in next to Dexter Lawrence, that's another guy. That D-line is loaded. It reminds me of the years when they won the Super Bowl with the NASCAR defense and Strahan and O.C. Umenyiora and Justin Tuck and all those dudes. So I like the defensive aspect. They bring in Paulson Adebo and Javon Holland in free agency. So I just think I disagree with the approach, but I think play the youth. You're not a playoff team this year anyways. So see what you can develop with the youth, and maybe that'll save their jobs. Now, I don't think it will. I think it's going to be a complete front office coaching staff overhaul. And you're going to be, it's going to be completely different in 2026. But if you're Dable and Shane, you have to try to save your job. And in my opinion, that's playing the youth. Usually, if you want to save your job, you play the veteran, right? The guy you trust, the guy who's done it before, like a Russell Wilson. But in this case, play the youth.
Yeah, I think the youth have been taken over now because you think about it. Somebody named Aaron Rodgers has not, they keep giving him the option of, you can save our team for 1 year, and Pittsburgh is doing that, and but it's almost like basketball. You got to keep changing every league. League gonna change, and the
Yeah.
league, the younger guys, the younger quarterbacks are coming out young, and look, Jalen is still young 20s. When Mahomes started winning Super Bowls, young 20s. Like we don't see the older guys,
Yeah.
man. You see these young guys grabbing these rings now in their 20s.
Exactly.
Tom Brady came in
Yeah.
here. Guy, and then I knew that. I told everybody, I said, look, now everybody don't think 40-year-old quarterbacks can do it now. Not saying they can't run a
Yeah.
team, not saying they can't steal, but everybody don't think, oh, let's get a 40-year-old guy. You know what I'm saying? I said, Tom done mess it up for everybody. People don't take the aspect of that's Tom Brady. Like, come on, man. So like there are gonna be guys playing into their deep 40s until they're like, okay, we see it. It was just Tom Brady. So it's just that
Yeah.
little roller coaster thing that people are gonna keep thinking. Like they still can play. You still can have a guy like almost like you said, hey, get an older guy. He would have made sense, but he don't make sense. Like you saying Russell Wilson don't make sense, but he would have made sense. You got him, guy. I understand that. We know he's just in there to show off for a couple of games, and then you're gonna throw him in. But if you're gonna get a guy that's gonna think he's a starter, which Winston and both of them come in thinking that they're going Russell and Winston thinking they're starters. So they're going to be
Yeah.
sitting here. Yeah, they're not coming in here like, oh yeah, well, I'm back. Yeah, they're going to back up, but once they get the opportunity, they're going to come in. Oh yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do, and then I think it changes the locker room dynamics when you have three different voices.
Yeah.
Like when I had Matt Ryan, when Matt Ryan got hurt, we still heard Matt Ryan's voice. We didn't care what the other quarterback was saying. You still knew it was Matt Ryan's team. So right now you have three guys, and we don't know who the team is. So we listen to Winston in the huddle.
Yeah.
We listen to him, and Dart can't really make a lot of things because he's so far back. But then when he gonna get in, we know we're gonna see him this year. We know it. Me and you know it. They might
Yeah.
not know it. Me and
Yeah.
you know that we're gonna see Dart this year. So when you see Dart, then you're gonna have a whole nother voice cadence, whole nother thing, and then all these guys that like, Malik Neighbors like that. Why we didn't start with him the other year? It's kind of like the same thing went on with Kirk Cousins. I didn't think Kirk Cousins was the greatest signing for us, but he played well in certain situations. But they could have got somebody else, like you said. They could have went and got the cheaper guy. Like okay, but we know we want Penix to play, and we can get this guy for like 5 to 10. You know what I mean? And if he sits down, oh well, he did what he supposed to do, and we're happy. We can then Cousins could have probably did his other thing, but it's just how football is, and it's just a different scheme. The scheme is now young quarterbacks are coming in their first year. They might sit a year or a half a year, but we're seeing these
Yeah.
quarterbacks starting. We see these quarterbacks starting and just murdering out here right now, and it's like it's getting like everybody wants that quarterback. Everybody looking to see what Tennessee does this year. Tennessee has the same
Yeah.
kind of success. It's going to be a wrap then. Every time you're going to see people drafting these quarterbacks, like we're gonna do it like Peyton Manning. We're going to let him sit for a little while, put him in the game. We're gonna
Yeah.
throw him in the fire and see what he can do. This ain't nothing but a college offense anyway. Throw him in the fire. We don't have all these complex offenses like we did in the past. We don't got to worry about these guys hitting our guy late. We don't got to worry about these guys really doing anything crazy. He can throw the ball when you're outside the pocket now. We were taking so many hits as a rookie. So why not put him out there? He might throw a couple picks. Oh well, we got him next year.
Yeah.
Let him learn.
Exactly.
Let him learn
Yeah.
from like fast motion stuff because we're not worrying about him getting hurt because it's not the same kind of defense. It's not the same kind of NFL.
Yeah, I'm really going to be interested to watch Jackson Dart and JJ McCarthy, two young quarterbacks I've got my eyes on to see how they perform. For me, I had my questions about McCarthy at Michigan, and when's the last time an Ole Miss quarterback has been anything in the NFL since Eli Manning, right? So I got
Man,
my questions there too.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for your quarterback because what I told you, we had a whole thing. I'm like, when the last time USC had a good quarterback? Like seriously, and I'm not trying to be rude or
Yeah,
anything, but
it's
you
true.
have, you have, you have quarterbacks that are amazing in college, then they get in the league and it's kind of like, hey, you be like, everybody try to throw up, hey, Carson Palmer. I'm like, man, stop. Carson Palmer was great. Stop, come on, stop.
Damn it, I don't know why I did that again, but
Oh, it's all good.
but I'll edit this stuff out. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a very competitive division. I think three teams battling, trying to get all three teams into the playoffs. We'll see if they can do it or not. I mean,
I don't think it's going to be that competitive, big guy. I think it's going to
well,
be,
Eagles.
yeah, the Eagles and the Commanders, yes, but yeah,
Hey,
I don't think
if
it's,
Dak
I
is
don't think,
healthy,
huh?
if
What you
Dak
say?
is healthy, they're going to be a threat.
I think they're gonna put up good numbers. I think they're good. Like what they say, you are what you are. Like I think that's them. Like I can't see them getting over that hump. I can see the fans getting into a real good lather on how great they're going to be, and I can see them playing the same football they've been playing. I think I just don't see Dak making that. I don't know that transformation or that. I think he already. They kind of say people they hit that point and then you see him. I think he's hit his. I think he hit his max. I think this is his max, and especially with the other quarterbacks in the division now, I don't think he has the opportunity to be that guy anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So I'm going to say the Eagles win the division. Do you agree with that, or do you think the Commanders can steal it?
I think the Commanders can steal it, but until the Eagles, like I'm kind of playing like the Kansas City right now. I don't think
Yeah.
Eagles have lost enough to not be knocked down. I think it's going to be a good division, but I can see the Commanders maybe, but right now, no, Philly still has control right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be very close between the Eagles and Commanders. I kind of agree with you. You convinced me a little bit. Cowboys maybe 9 wins, 9-8, and just miss the playoffs. 10-7, maybe sneak in as the 7 seed. So we'll see on the Cowboys, and then the Giants play the youth. But it's going to be a fun division. It's going to be a fun year. I can't wait for training camp to get going and some preseason football later this month. Abe, thanks as always for taking the time to come on, and always great talking some football with you, bro.
My God, appreciate it, bro.
Yep. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and stay tuned for more episodes. Peace out.